December 14th. Oh, I feel like throwing up. That's what I get for staying up late and eating ice cream. That's what I get for that. I need to go have some ginger too. I don't feel good. And no, it's because I ate late. Oh, I hadn't done that in a while. Oh. My dreams were about church. There was this theme about churches in general. But really, the theme it was around, I don't want to use this term, but that's only a word that comes to mind. No, there's another word. There has to be another word. But until I figure out the other word, I'm going to use this word. A sense of being a hypocrite. A hypocrite. But there's another word. I know there's another word. Not knowing, I guess. Not knowing is the other. The hypocrites when you say something and then you do something else, right? Or you do the opposite. Let's look up what hypocrite means. Let's make sure I have the right word. If I get reception. It'll take a while. 7:37. It was yeah, it's gonna take a while. Oh, there we go. A person who indulges in hypocrisy. The story tells of respectable Ben who turns out to be a cheat and a hypocrite. Give me more. Give me more. Ugh. Freaking internet. Similar. A deceiver. Pretender. I guess. A person who puts on a false appearance of virtue or religion, who acts in contradiction to his or her stated beliefs or feelings. Yeah. That was the theme. It was all about church. It was all about religion. And the people in my dream were people who were rigid in their religious beliefs. For the most part. Yeah. 2 people in particular. 3 people, actually. 2 were loved ones, and 1 was that person that I went to lunch with this spring, this past spring. She was there. The one that I felt attacked by for the path that I was taking. And was judged by. She was there. She was there. And so there's these different scenes. And in one scene, my 2 loved ones are there. And there was this element of deceiving. They were deceiving one another. One of them was deceiving. I was staying there the night, and one of them was deceiving with some information. And it didn't sit well with me. And then the other person, because they're married, the other person, it didn't sit well in the sense of just like questioning, why do you have to hide this? And, you know, oftentimes we hide things to not be seen. To not be seen. Fear of judgment, fear of what? Fear of not being allowed, really. In this particular case, there was just something about not being allowed to do something or something like that. But this other loved one was complaining about her children. Like she had like a baby or something, but she was complaining about someone else's baby. That this is someone else's baby, bit kids. And so she was unsure about allowing her baby around other children, right? Specifically this one child that bit. But then it shows a scene of her playing with the baby. I don't know, like pretending, like, you know, when you play with the baby, when you play with children, she sometimes, like, she'll have the baby, right? It's like she had the baby here, but then she'll bite the baby's fingers, like that. She's doing that. She's not realizing that she's teaching the baby to bite. Not realizing that she's teaching the baby to bite. So in the first scene, she's complaining that this baby bites other children. And then the next scene, it shows her playing with the baby going, oh. So it's just like, how can you get upset about a baby? You're teaching the baby how to bite. You're doing it to the baby without even realizing that you're doing it, right? Not knowing, and then you end up being hypocritical without realizing that you are. So that was that scene. We're in a church, and it's a simple church, like simple in the sense of like extravagant stuff, right? So it wasn't Catholic church. Those are very clear with you know the. It's interesting. I had a conversation with someone. She's in she was in the convent. It's just triggering that memory right now, but she was in the convent and it's about Catholic churches, and there was this discussion. She was sharing it with me about how she was in the convent, but then she came out of it. But she was in it for like 20 plus years before she came out of it. And she shared about how oftentimes they would get comments from people, why doesn't the Catholic Church sell all of their artifacts that are inside the Catholic Church to help feed the poor? And she's just like, they don't get it. And she was telling me, she's an older lady. She's like, they don't get it. All of the stuff that's inside the churches was donated by the artist. She's like, it was donated by the artist. If you think about it. It's what she said. I think she was specifically, I can't speak for all the churches, or make the statement that that's what she meant. She was focusing specifically on the Vatican, because a lot, like, you know, the frescoes and stuff, it was donated by the artist. And so there's this element of like, it was a donation. And so, and then if it gets sold, it's going to be stuck in someone's house, or it's not going to be open to the public for people to see. And P.S., my little snippet, that's not the way you're going to solve world hunger. But it's just people not knowing, right? So anyways, that was side note. So I'm in this church, so it's more of a simple church, right? Because it's not extravagant. I grew up, I wasn't Catholic, but I was in Catholic churches a lot, because a lot of my community friends and stuff, and I participated in quinceañeras and weddings, and all of these were Catholic weddings, so I was familiar with the process. But the churches that I would go to, because I wasn't Catholic, were simple churches. It was buildings. It was, it wasn't so decorative in that way, right? Whether it was a smaller building or a warehouse that was remodeled. So in this particular church, there's this element of the pastor was needing his notes, and he was calling for me to give him his notes. So I sat down. And I was trying to find a place to sit, and there was a chair in the front, but I ended up sitting on the side. For whatever reason, I was being called to sit in the front, even though I didn't. My plan was to, but then I held back and I was on the side. And that's where the girl that I had lunch with that judged me, that I somewhat felt attacked because of her aggressiveness. Even though she prepared me for it, there was still this feeling of because I was shaking. I remember I was shaking. And there's this element of she's making another judgment. And making another judgment. And I challenge her back. I challenge her back with a statement. I think it kind of reminds me of part of our conversation while we were there having lunch. She was just so adamant, right? That her way was the way. And I remember asking her, so are you telling me that everybody here who doesn't follow your way is going to hell? Is that what you're telling me? And we were outside and there was a lot of them. And then she looked around. She's like, yeah. She had to do a double I'm like, is that what you're telling me? That you believe everybody here is going to go to hell? And I think just how I worded it, there was a moment within her that she's just oh dang, but she had to own it, right? And then she said, yeah. I was like, okay, well then that's your belief, right? I don't think that, but. And so I was like, okay. And I didn't say anything, right? Just wanted her to acknowledge it out loud. She believed everybody was going to hell. Because that's in essence what you're believing, right? Or at least what she was telling me. So she was there and I was challenging her. Not much stands out from that scene. Aside from this triggering effect that it had on me. So here's why I think I dreamt all this. I was preparing the videos for the rest of the month. I'm halfway there. It's mid-month already. So I have 1 week down. I'm preparing the last week of January and then jumping into the following, or the last week of December. The last video that I saw was when I have the dream where I'm coming back to church. I'm coming back to church on a horse. I still get a kick out of it. Then I'm going back to church, my church, on a horse. It's just so funny to me. The church that I went to was a big warehouse that was transformed. And so I'm walking in the main lobby, the main lobby on the horse, and that's where she's greeting me and getting off the horse, and she's telling me, welcome back. And I'm like, it's good to be back. That was the last dream that I had. So I think that's what triggered all of these dreams. This theme of hypocrisy. To the next scene. There's this haunted house, and I put it in quotes because it's haunted for the people who are there. It's haunted for the people who are there, right? Who are fearful. And for me, I could feel their fear. The color, the color within this home, it felt like a haunted house. But I knew that it was a projection, that it was an illusion in terms of how other people were perceiving it. And there was this theme about a dinner and the food, the foods that were being brought in, the type of foods that were being brought in. And there was this feeling from the people there. There was a lot of people there, and myself. But the feeling that I got from the people was it was fear. It was fear. It was a lot of fear. And I was showing them. It was me showing them, like, no, you're there. This awareness of like, there's people that were coming in and out, but there was this element of fear of what was being presented. I'm getting a flashback of there's another scene. There's another scene. I need to sit with that one for a little bit because I was like, whoa, there's something else that's completely not related, I think, or it is. There's a related scene. And that one fit right in between. It was right after this scene. So before I go into that one, now I need to jump into this one because that's what came in. That's what came in before I jump into this last scene. After the church scene, there's a restroom. And there's blood. I'm squatting over the restroom and there's blood coming out of me. And I'm trying to clean myself, but the toilet gets not clogged, but the toilet that I used to, the toilet paper that I used to clean myself wasn't going down. So the blood was staying there. And there was this worry of like, why isn't it going down? I was like on my period or something. There was something about blood and period. But I wasn't worried about it at the same time. Like there was no worry. But I turn around. There's someone there. She's worried. She was hiding. She was hiding blood. She was hiding Levi, like these pair of Levi jeans that were folded, and there was blood in them. She was hiding. She didn't want. There was fear about it. You know what feeling that I get? It's abortions. That's the feeling that I'm getting. She didn't want. She had been holding this for a while. These jeans with this blood. But there was this feeling of abortion. Like she didn't want people to know. She didn't want people to know. She had an abortion. She was scared. She was worried. But I didn't see her until after I bled. And I was trying to clean myself. And it was flushing, the toilet was flushing, but it wasn't taking the toilet paper with the blood with it. Like, that was just staying on the outskirts of the toilet bowl. And I turned around, and that's when I see her, and she has her jeans, and she was hiding. There was this element of hiding. Someone was calling out to us. Something about children. What was she saying? Something about children, that we needed to take care of children. It was a low income. That was a low, like the feeling that I got. It was a low income apartment that I was in. It was a low income apartment. And someone's yelling outside the apartment that we were needing to watch the kids. That was a random one. That was a random scene in between all of these scenes. I must sit with that one for a little bit. But the last scene, it's this haunted house, an illusioned haunted house. And but I'm not afraid. I can feel everybody else's fear, but I'm not afraid. And I'm showing them. They were in their mindset. They only saw potential for a limited amount of utensils. Like, that's all they could see. They're like, how are we gonna address all of these different foods when we only have these limited utensils? And so I step in to help them see we have all of these utensils. There's all of these other utensils that you can use, but they were only stuck on this amount. And I was showing them, like, look, and I was putting it in order. I was showing them, look at all this. Look at all of this abundance. All of this abundance that's the element that I was showing them. Like, look at all this abundance of tools, and you're only focused on this. So anyways, I woke up with this feeling, this awareness of, like, I don't appreciate it when there are organizations, any organization, that claims to honor. Really, it's that claims to love everybody, that claims to accept everybody, but yet behind the scenes there's discrimination. There's no equal representation, and or they blatantly say, even though we agree with this, at the end of the day we believe that a marriage is between a man and a woman. And so the awareness that they would never but acknowledge same-sex marriage or same-sex unions, or just the LGBTQ community, that never sat well with me, in the different organizations that I participated in. When that was present, when that was made apparent to me, that never sat well with me, and there's been a few. And that's what was triggered when I woke up. And I think that's what kind of also pushes me away, of like, a sense of hypocrisy. Just, no one really says anything, right? When you're a part of something, you have to be mindful. You have to be mindful. Everything's purposeful, but that never sat well So anyways, that's what got triggered. It's 8 o'clock. I need to go eat my ginger chew. Take care of this. I think it's indigestion. Is that what that is? This is not good for eating ice cream. On a cold, rainy day. At 2 a.m. I went to bed like at 2. Alright, that was all. I need that other period scene. I need to look that sucker up. I don't know what that means, but.
Hi, my name is Yubi, and in case you haven't figured it out, this footage is capturing my experience as I learned to navigate my personal spiritual awakening. I am learning that this experience is unique to each one of us, in whatever way we believe we are embracing living our truth. This just happens to be my journey. And despite me having a graduate degree and a license in clinical social work, this by no means is intended to replace any type of mental health advice. This is just me on a personal level, documenting my experience, shedding light on the truth that I am learning and discovering for myself, and really inviting you along for the ride. If by some magical chance you find this content to be helpful in any way, shape, or form, please click the like button, share the message, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I have an Instagram account, a personal one, and one specifically for this channel that you're more than welcome to check out. I'm an open book. I have also created t-shirt designs. I'm wearing my favorite one right now, which is the North Node design, but I have that and other things that you can look at inspired by this process and journey, and I have the link in the description box as well as in the about section of my YouTube channel. So you're more than welcome to check those items out. Any type of support is great. Again, if you find this content really helpful or meaningful, sometimes when we take that step and be vulnerable, with showing what's inside our hearts and what's really our truth, we realize that we're much more connected than what we thought we were. And so I hope that as I'm living this experience and that you find some type of truth for yourself, or find some type of ability to heal in some way just by relating, just by knowing that you're not alone. That really has been my goal with this process, not just being able to connect with others, but really for my own healing. It's definitely been a therapeutic experience and a very creative one for myself. So I thank you, and I wish you all the best. And